Hi, and welcome to this video on Mars retrograde, which will begin September 9th and will last for about 3 months. According to the Evolutionary Astrology school of thought, Mars retrograde is a time of re-examining the desires of our soul. So during this time, we will be reassessing, looking at what our true desires are, and cutting out anything in our life that does not resonate with those desires. Here are some important dates for Mars retrograde 2020. It entered its shadow period beginning July 25th, which means that you could have started feeling some of this need to remove certain things from your life, or maybe there were new desires coming up as early as July 25th. It leaves its shadow January 2nd. Again, the dates for the retrograde itself are September 9th through November 13th. Mars is retrograde in the sign of Aries, so you want to check your birth chart to see what area of your life will be specifically affected. And the way you do that is you just find what house Aries is naturally occupying, and that'll tell you the area of life. And if you're not familiar with astrology or the different houses, you can look up that information online. So Venus retrograde, which we just came out of not too long ago, deals with re-examining or reassessing of our values. And Mars retrograde deals with the re-examining or reassessing of desires. And it's true for any retrograde, Mercury retrograde, any of the planets. It's a time of reassessing and re-examining what specifically that planet deals with. So for instance, with Mercury, it would be communication. And the correlation that's given between Mars and desires is that desires are instinctual and emanate from the soul. And desires come before values. So if you look at the natural zodiac, we have Mars, Aries in the first house coming first, which would correlate with desires. And then after that, we have Taurus, Venus in the second house, which correlates to values. And the reason desires come first is because there's this instinctual desire to experience something, and then we have those experiences, and then after that we take in what we've learned from the experiences that were the product of our desires, and the assessment of those experiences becomes our values, or Taurus second house Venus. In the EA philosophy, Mars is the conscious and instinctual carrying out of our unconscious desires, which are represented by Pluto. So during Mars retrograde, we'll be taking a second look at the true desires of our soul and clearing out anything in our lives that gets in the way of our soul's desires, as I mentioned at the beginning of the video. We will feel an instinctual, keyword here is instinctual, because Mars and Aries, there's no forethought before action. Everything is done on instinct. Instinctual urge to cut out anything that does not align with our life purpose, which is the growth and evolution of our soul via our ego identity, or the moon's nodes. Mars retrograde is what Jeffrey Wolf Green, who is the founder of Evolutionary Astrology, calls a time of soul renewal. So this soul weeding, which happens during Mars retrograde, can happen internally using our own will or actions, or externally through the will or actions of another. So pay attention to any new or changing desires that are coming up for you during this Mars retrograde period. Because they're there for a purpose and for a reason. Yeah, this is a time of clearing out any desires that are not in true alignment with those more core or unconscious desires of our soul.